It's 4 o'clock in Jonesboro, where we're learning more details about a murder that was reported yesterday afternoon that we first brought to you right here on NEA Report. We have the names of those involved and more about what may have transpired. We'll tell you coming up. An escaped inmate in Lawrence County was captured almost before we knew he was gone. It happened late yesterday evening. We'll tell you the scoop coming up, plus a special report you may have read a little bit about yesterday, the TJ Maxx incident involving two immigrants that went to the store and were unfairly targeted. The full story and more that you've not even read, that's next. Also talking about sobriety checkpoints. They're in Jonesboro tonight starting at 10 o'clock, so plan accordingly. Plus recycling, a weather warning with a cold on the way and more. It's all next on NEA Report. Here we go.
Reporting.
We begin the news tonight with more details about a homicide reported first yesterday afternoon right here on NEA Report. The details are chilling as we're learning of a call that was apparently a domestic incident gone bad between a couple at a trailer home. The details came in to Jonesboro Police Department first at about 12:45 yesterday afternoon. Sean G. Burniston, 50, was arrested. After authorities arrived, they found Jessica D. Burniston, 43, killed. The belief was, whenever authorities arrived, some type of possible domestic incident had transpired, but they're still investigating. It happened on Arrowhead Farm Road, and I'm actually going to go ahead and show you a photo of the home right here. That's courtesy of our friends at Northeast Arkansas News. KJNB, authority, you can actually see one of the detectives moving in to the active crime scene. This photo was taken yesterday afternoon. I'm going to show you the suspect as well. This is Mr. Burniston, Sean G. Burniston, arrested for the homicide that happened at Arrowhead Farm Road yesterday afternoon. He had a $1 million temporary bond set today and remains in custody at Craighead County Detention Center. On Thursday, Jonesboro Police Department responded to a call about a subject being injured with a knife on Arrowhead Farm Road. Whenever they arrived on the scene, they located Sean with an apparent self-inflicted knife wound to his wrist, according to the press release sent out by Jonesboro Police Department. His wife, Jessica, had suffered blunt force trauma and was found deceased in the home. Sean received medical treatment for his injuries at a local hospital and was then transported to Craighead County Jail, where he's being held right now. JPD detectives are still actively investigating this case as they're trying to learn more information about it, what happened, what led to all this taking place. If you have any information which could help authorities, they're asking you to call the Criminal Investigation Division at 870-935-6710. If you wish to remain anonymous, you can call Crime Stoppers, 870-935-STOP. That's 7867. We're talking about details like anything from text messages, Facebook posts, comments that were made in jest, comments that were made in passing, just anything you can think of that might be relevant. Please, we ask you to give a call to Jonesboro Police Department. If you want to find out more information about this, visit NEAReport.com. Well, we learned Thursday evening that an inmate had escaped the Lawrence County Jail, but by the time we were able to confirm it, well, the inmate was already back in custody. The report came in a little bit late Thursday evening. We found out about it just about 8 o'clock or 8:15. The inmate briefly escaped from Lawrence County Jail Thursday night, but was back in custody no longer than about 15 minutes later. The report said that he apparently slipped off his cuffs, or slipped the cuffs off at a bench, you know, that type of holding area bench that they put you down in whenever they're getting ready to process you into the jail. Well, a law enforcement source anonymously confirmed to me that that's what happened that led the suspect to be able to escape. Now, the name of the suspect was reportedly Archer Murray. We're also told that he may have had a warrant hold on him for Cleburne County. Whatever happened didn't last very long. It only lasted about 15 minutes, and the suspect was brought back into custody in Lawrence County. Now let's talk to you about a story we told you about yesterday. It's a story that's elicited a lot of emotion, especially from the victims in the story, who had to deal with racism in a Jonesboro store from employees who believed their job duties included being Sherlock Holmes instead of stocking home goods and clothes. See, it was reported at the local TJ Maxx on South Caraway Road in November. The report was that a young girl from Nepal and her Middle Eastern friend had gone into the store to do some shopping. They weren't in the store for minutes before they were being followed around by store employees, gawked at, peeked at around the corners. And by the time they got out of the store, they had the cops called on them. They had their car searched, the bags, purse of the girl searched. No reason. They had stolen nothing. We posted this story yesterday on NEAreport.com, and I would say 99% of the comments were people that were applauding the young lady for her actions, of which we'll tell you about in detail more here in just a second. But we also had some folks that were making comments that were quite despicable, too. And some folks that made comments indicating some of the people that were working or at work in that store still don't have an understanding of what racial profiling is or racism. See, I know it's hard for some people, especially white folks in the South, but sometimes whenever you're white and you're dealing with an issue of race and you live in a state that used to own people who were different races, it's best to hold off on whatever your instinct is to comment, or at least think about it extra deeply. Give it extra thought, because we've screwed up in the past and we need to make sure we don't in the present or in the future, at least in terms of race. That's one thing we could get right in our state, if we could get anything right, is treating people of other colors, other creeds, and other religions equally. But that didn't take place at TJ Maxx in November whenever these two went there. And we're going to talk about that right now, the full story. In fact, on the way, and I'm going to include some details that you've not heard in the story too, including a message we received from somebody after posting this, detailing an incident at TJ Maxx. But let's talk about this one we're talking about. On Tuesday, November 14th, the young girl from Nepal we told you about was humiliated in a way she'll never forget because she was shopping at TJ Maxx. She shopped there once a week, she told me, always looking for stuff to buy. The girl's an immigrant. The girl and her friend is an immigrant. The friend is Middle Eastern. She's from Nepal. But as they go into the store, she was carrying a heavy purse and said, "Hey, can you take this back out?" And her friend did. And he returned to the store. Moments later, they started hearing people talking about foreigners stealing things. Foreigners, right? Because that's an appropriate term, and of course it's not. I'm being facetious, and it's ridiculous that would, but that's the description. And they heard it, right? Like these sleuths that are walking around in TJ Maxx are not exactly being, obscure. So it hadn't been a minute, she said, when the two continued shopping. As they're walking around, they started realizing the talk was about them. In fact, the girl told me she could tell they were watching us and sneaking up by the aisle, but I didn't care. I was there for about 45 minutes in the store. I was noticing they weren't monitoring anyone else or even looking at anyone else. So I got my stuff, and when we were checking out, the manager was eyeing us, looking at us. I knew they were trying to single us out, she said. But see, being a native of another country, Nepal, this girl knew that awkward interactions are part of living in the South. Again, as I mentioned, when you're in the South, things are a little bit different. Folks are not always as intelligent or compassionate when it comes to racial issues. It's just a fact, folks. If you don't like that, then I'm sorry the reality bothers you. But being an immigrant in the South, she tried to brush it off and walk away. You can only try to walk away so many times, but that's what she tried to do. She walks out of the store, and on the left side, that's where JPD's standing. Right there. The officers followed her to her car. Evidently, they didn't have the courage to speak up either. They just followed her to the vehicle. And whenever she got to her vehicle, she turned around and asked them, "What do you want?" The cops said that they had been called and told that someone matching their description had shoplifted. "What description?" the immigrant asked. "They look like me? Come on." So the incident proceeds, and she consents to having her vehicle searched. Officers search it, they find nothing. They want to search her purse. They've made a mess in the back of her vehicle at this point, and she's done nothing. She does go ahead and go with the search, although it seems kind of questionable, but she decided to go back into the store at that point and stand up for herself, the young girl did. She goes back into the store and confronts the manager, who looks her in the eye and denies being involved. She looks her in the eye and tells her she had nothing to do with this, no knowledge of it, even though she was following her around the store and literally eyeing her while she's checking out. Okay? So, after the manager lies to the young girl's face, and we know it's a lie because we confirmed that with TJ Maxx, they looked at the security camera footage and had to profusely apologize because the local employees were so dumb about this. Well, the girl gets lied to and then says, "You know what, I'm going to take my stuff back and I'm going to get a refund." This manager says to her, I guess we're even now. Now we're equal was her exact quote, according to the young Nepali girl whom we interviewed. So the girl told her, no, we're not equal. This was racism. One of the cashiers then had the gall to say, because of you, we will get in trouble. Who cares? Don't do things that are wrong. And that was the attitude of the young Nepali girl as well. But the positive element of this was that a young black girl sympathized with this Nepali girl and told her that she had been singled out unfairly too, and she knew what it felt like. It made her feel hope in that hopeless moment. So the young Nepali girl set out to make this situation right. What did she do? She set out on a mission to contact TJ Maxx and tell them what had happened and encourage them to not allow this to happen again, which evidently it had taken place before, or at least something similar had. I want to read you a comment that we received on NEAreport.com after we posted the story last night. Quote, my biracial daughters and I have had an interesting discussion regarding this article. My oldest has been followed and eyed by employees of the Jonesboro TJ Maxx. But it had happened in other stores as well. This lady, by the way, went on to say, we applaud the victim for the way she handled a bad situation in a rational and mature way. It was a difficult situation, and the company itself reached out to the young girl and asked, what can we do? How can we make this right? The girl gave it a few days of thought, gave it some time, and then contacted them back and told them she wanted a letter acknowledging the incident. And that was no problem. They did that. You can see the full letter at NEAreport.com. The girl also asked the company, TJ Maxx, to ensure that diversity training would be implemented. They did ensure that. They promised that in the letter and said they would specifically highlight this exact instance. And I can't wait for a few of those local employees who are commenting on our story to go through that diversity training, by the way. Then she made an unusual request. Quite frankly, one I would not have made. She asked that the manager, who had been a complete rude person to her, not be fired. TJ Maxx's initial response, she said, was that we can't guarantee that. This manager's made some serious mistakes because she needed to be fired, okay? But the thing about it is, she insisted, this girl did. She saved that manager's job, although the manager should be demoted to stocking rooms now, but nonetheless, she saved that manager's job, even though that manager made the rudest comment she could to her face and lied to her face. That's character. The story goes on as the young girl was asked by TJ Maxx if there was a nonprofit group that they could make a donation to in her name. She gave them a nonprofit, as a matter of fact, the South Asian Americans Leading Together, the group called SALT, S-A-A-L-T. They're on Facebook, and you can actually check out a post they made just a couple of days ago that mentioned this and congratulated the young girl, Pratiksha, on her courage, standing up in the face of what this was, which is just disturbing. It was just very disturbing, the entire thing. They made a $5,000 donation to South Asian Americans Leading Together. And while TJ Maxx's group president apologized, others apologized, diversity training was promised to be implemented, thousands of dollars donated to a charity, the local manager never apologized. Still hasn't. As far as we know, we asked the girl yesterday if she'd ever heard from her. She said no. But a few people did comment on the story. A couple of people commented and made comments that were quite, I'm not going to get into them, but they were victim-blaming comments, displaying a great deal of ignorance and no compassion. As we've said many times before, we don't allow victim-blaming on NEA Report, and if you have an issue with that, you're free to email the owner. See how that goes. It's your last warning before you go out and have a little bit of fun tonight. There will be sobriety checkpoints in Jonesboro this evening. They're going to last into early Saturday morning, and the idea is to tell you now so that you have a plan whenever it's time to go home that doesn't involve drinking and driving. It's this weekend in Jonesboro, but I wouldn't doubt it if you see a few of them in other communities across Northeast Arkansas. It's all part of the Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign that's going on through the new year. It does begin tonight at 10 p.m. and it ends at 2 a.m. Saturday morning, according to Jonesboro Police Department Corporal David McDaniel, their public relations officer, who helps us out a ton, by the way. We really appreciate him. Traffic may be stopped briefly as drivers are checked for intoxicants, according to the report. It might surprise people to realize that it's one of the most dangerous times of the year as far as driving goes, and it could be even crazier to believe this, but it's true. up to a third of traffic accidents this time of the year can involve a drunk driver. In fact, in December 2015, fatal crashes involving drunk drivers were almost 4 times higher at night than day, but we kind of know why that is. It's because people go out and party at night. The holidays, over a 5-year period, resulted in almost 4,000 people dying in drunk driving crashes during December, according to the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration. It's statistics that you don't want to be a part of. Please remember, drunk driving offenders often serve jail time, lose their driver's license, and are charged higher insurance rates. They pay dozens of other unanticipated expenses that could range from attorney fees to court costs, car towing, don't forget about that, or repairs. Don't forget about lost wages due to time off from work, or quite frankly, getting fired, as you would here if you ended up getting arrested for something of that nature. But the thing about it is, the ultimate cost of drunk driving is causing a traffic crash that injures or kills someone. I'm very good friends with at least one person who has suffered tremendously due to drunk drivers, and anything we can do to stop someone from getting behind the wheel with a intoxicated blood alcohol level or any kind of intoxicant in their system, we want to do that. Please remember, drive sober or get pulled over. There's more news coming up after the break, but we're taking a trip abroad one more time to hear from a few of our servicemen and women that are sacrificing for us while we're here at home, enjoying the freedoms that we do. It's a message courtesy of our friends at Car Today.
This is Command Sergeant Major Scotty Ingram.
And Cannon, hope you guys, Arkansas,
This is Command Sergeant Major Scotty Ingram from El Dorado, Arkansas, stationed in Camp Berry, Kuwait, for Operation Spartan Shield. I would just want to wish a happy holidays to my mother-in-law, brother-in-law, aunts and uncles in El Dorado, Arkansas.
Family Medical Clinic of Walnut Ridge and Bono are your neighborhood healthcare providers, and we're now accepting new patients. We know you have a tight schedule, so we're here 6 days a week at both locations from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Walk-ins are welcome. In Walnut Ridge, stop by 1045 West Main Street or call us to make an appointment, 886-8300. In Bono, we're on Highway 63 North or call 930-9990. Walnut Ridge Family Medical Clinic and Bono Family Medical Clinic, here for you when you need us.
If you're setting up your advertising budget for 2018, call us and talk to us. We can help you out more than anybody else in Northeast Arkansas, as we'll go to work for you here at NEA Report. Advertise with us. Reach thousands of readers and viewers each and every day. We have thousands of readers on our website reading our text articles, and every single day here on our newscast, we have thousands of viewers as well. We reach more people online and on social media than any other outlet in Northeast Arkansas. Contact Nicole at 870-897-9272 for more, or you can email her at nicole@neareport.com for more information. Advertise your business with news from Northeast Arkansas. That's NEA Report.
Hey, buddy. Looking good. You know what we gotta do, right? Let's go. Come on.
Not.
You're a good driver.
But that's
Get
not.
in the car.
No.
I don't think I should do this.
Just get in the car!
No.
With this being the last newscast of 2017, the opportunity is perfect to tell you about some changes that are coming up to the City of Jonesboro's recycling program, and more importantly, how you can save money and help the community in those changes. A recycling discount is going to be available between January 1st and July for everybody that's participating in the recycling program in Jonesboro, and more specifically, getting their first bin. If you have another bin that you need, after that you're going to have to pay the $50 cost, but if you get the bin at the reduced price, your first unit, that's the limit, it's only $20 plus tax. The city's already spent over $400,000 on 2 trucks to get ready to go pick up the bins, but basically the gist of it is that the program, the recycling program with the blue bags, was putting too much of a strain on Abilities Unlimited, according to Jonesboro Mayor Harold Perrin. The mayor felt like it was the best option for the city to take the program over, and the best way to do that was with bins similar to garbage bins. Hopefully it's going to make for a lot prettier street side view, at least on garbage day in a lot of neighborhoods too, because those blue bags just had to be left out by the road, and routinely you would see the blue bags having, whether it may have been a set of scavenger-like animals that had ripped them open, or maybe they just spilled out because of the wind or the weather. You might find a blue bag down the road or up in the trees or something. Well, those are going to be history come July. He said that he said that we'll continue to be one of the few cities providing this service for free, but we're asking, he said, residents to invest because of startup costs. The request is that $20 would be a bargain basement investment price, a very cheap price considering all the help that it would bring for the environment. It's finally paying off to have a video game system, well, at least in some form or fashion. See, if you owned the fat model of the PlayStation 3 between 2006 and 2010, you may be due some settlement money. We posted the story this morning on the money page of NEAReport.com. You could receive up to a $65 payout under the proposed settlement if you agree with it. It comes as a resolution for Sony disabling the PlayStation 3 from running another operating system. The settlement said other operating system, but we found out it was Linux. If you want to submit the claim, you have a pretty considerable amount of time to do it, or you could deny it and try to sue them on your own, but if you're not going to try that, just submit the claim on the money page at NEAReport.com. We've got a link directly to the lawsuit proposed payout that you can go to. Well, the extreme cold is here, and we're expecting this weekend to be a very nasty weekend across northeast Arkansas. In fact, the temperatures have prompted some advisories to actually be issued, and we want to tell you about those right now. A 7-day hazardous weather outlook issued by the National Weather Service in Memphis, and we'll read just a little bit of that to you. It says patchy, light, freezing drizzle and snow flurries may occur late Saturday night and Sunday morning south of Clarksdale to Tupelo, Mississippi, but for us in northeast Arkansas, which is really to the northwest of Memphis there, and generally speaking, we've actually seen the snowfall be removed from the forecast, at least for the next few days. But that doesn't negate the temperatures. Those are where the serious dangers occur. Near 0-degree wind chills are forecast for areas north of the Interstate 40 corridor on Sunday morning. -5 to 0-degree wind chills are forecast for areas along and north of I-40. And you've got that including Memphis, but also Jonesboro and our surrounding communities. They're all dealing with the potential for some very serious life-threatening conditions. If you have somebody that is in your family that's elderly and they go to the mailbox, early morning or something and they slip, it could be a dangerous situation. So you want to stay in touch with your relatives. You want to think about your pets, and you always want to keep others in your thoughts, keep others in your mind. That way that nothing can catch you by surprise. Let's take a look at your 5-day forecast now. The weather from New Wave Wireless, home of the $49 iPhone screen repair. Tonight, this is going to be the warmest evening that we see for the next 5 days, with a low of 27. Who said that's warm? But it literally, with it being, in the mid-30s today, when I went outside and actually walked from my truck to the office, I thought, man, it feels warm out here compared to where it's been. Well, partly cloudy tonight, that low 27. Then Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 35, and winds could be as much as 15 miles per hour. Saturday night, the low of 16, partly cloudy skies, the wind chill as low as 4. Sunday, mostly sunny, and a high near 22 degrees. You're going to have to bundle up extra thick for your trip to church on Sunday morning. Then mostly clear on Sunday night, the low around 10 degrees Sunday night. It gets even worse. New Year's Day night. Okay, New Year's Day, sunny and cold, the high only near 20. Then Monday night, partly cloudy, the low around 8 degrees. For your Tuesday, mostly sunny, a high near 23. Warming up a little bit, but still, you're talking about days with highs in the 20s, tops around the low 30s next week. It's not going to be a very good week in terms of weather. If you're looking to do anything outside, you're going to have to take caution and think also, like we said, about those who may be more susceptible to the elements. That's all we've got for today on NEA Report, but we're back on Tuesday with more news from Northeast Arkansas. And if the craziness breaks out between now and Tuesday, guess who's going to be here for you? Well, it's us. We're always there in local news. When it breaks out, we'll break in on NEA Report. Glad to have you, and please stay safe this weekend. If you're going out and partying, plan ahead a little bit. Really, it doesn't take any of the fun away. Just be save you some trouble after the fact. Trust me. Good evening. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.